Sony called off its merger deal with Zee. It looks like it will be a rematch between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, just barely a few days to go for the budget to be presented. Hello and welcome to the Weekly Economic Insights, your weekly dose of events and news that you need to know to manage your personal finances. I am Ridhima Bhatnagar. Let's begin with all the stock market action. Let's begin with the Indian markets. The Nifty 50 saw a correction of 1.01% this week. It was down by 219.20 points, closing at 21,352 for the week. The Sensex also corrected 1.01% this week, down by 722.98 points compared to last week's closing at 70,700. Now, one of the possible reasons could be the FII selling. As per the provisional data, FPI sold rupees 12,194 crores worth of securities. The FII selling could have been motivated by the surge in the 10-year US bond treasury yield. Let's also bring you some global market action. The Nasdaq Composite gained 0.94% this week and closed at 15,455. Dow Jones made an all-time high of 38,215, but it settled at 38,109. It gained over 0.64% over last week's closing. FTSE gained over 2.13% this week and closed at 7,635. Hang Seng gained over 4.2% this week and closed at 15,952. Let's now talk about the biggest corporate news of this week. Sony called off its merger deal with Zee. More than 2 years after announcing a merger proposal, Japanese entertainment giant Sony Corporation said its Indian arm Culver Max Entertainment Private Limited, formerly Sony Pictures Networks India Private Limited, has called off the $10 billion merger plan with Zee Entertainment Enterprises Limited. Now, the deal that was initially supposed to combine the two companies' linear networks, digital assets, production operations, and program libraries to create a mega entertainment firm. So, why did Sony really pull out? Now, while the expected completion of the deal was 21st of December 2023, Zee had sought a deadline extension which was to expire on the 20th of January 2024. Now, this 30-day grace period was included in the merger pact signed in December 2021. However, the deal couldn't be fructified by the 20th of January of this year, and Sony cited the delay in the merger for the termination. So, what are the options with Zee? Zee has now said in a filing to exchanges that it refutes all the claims made by Culver Max regarding alleged breaches of the merger cooperation agreement. Zee said it's evaluating all available options, will take all necessary steps to safeguard the long-term interests of the stakeholders. Let's now move on to what we heard from the central bank. The RBI released a report on finances of Panchayati Raj institutions. It said the recent digital initiatives have collectively enhanced transparency and accountability at the panchayat level. RBI said it would be prudent for the panchayats to reduce their heavy dependence on grants by deploying the tax and non-tax instruments available to them to raise resources. Let's also bring you some regulatory changes. The import duty on gold and silver findings and coins of precious metals has now been increased from an existing 10% to 15%. In some more news, there is now an extension of timeline for verification of market rumors by listed entities. Now, you all would know that SEBI LODR regulations require top listed entities by market capitalization to mandatorily verify, confirm, deny, or clarify market rumors. The timeline for implementation of this provision has now been extended for the top 100 listed entities by market cap to the 1st of June 2024. This was the 1st of February 2024 earlier. Now in some news around IPOs and NFOs. IPOs first, Bharti Hexacom Limited has filed a draft red herring prospectus. This company plans to sell 10 crore equity shares of the company via offer for sale. The Government of India currently holds 30% stake in the company and the other 70% is owned by Bharti Airtel. Let's bring you some news around NFOs or new fund offers. Let's talk about PGIM India Large and Mid Cap Fund. Now, this is an open-ended, actively managed equity scheme that will invest in the equities of predominantly large cap and mid cap stocks. The offer opened on the 24th January of this year, will close on the 7th of February. The minimum subscription amount is 5,000 rupees and rupee 1 thereafter. Let's also now bring you some global news. It looks like it will be a rematch between Donald Trump and Joe Biden as far as the 2024 US presidential election is concerned. A Reuters nationwide poll of 1,250 US adults showed that Trump in fact was leading against Biden 40 to 34%, with the rest either unsure or planning to vote for someone else or no one at all. But interestingly, the poll also had a margin of error of about 3 percentage points. And before we go, it's just barely a few days to go for the budget to be presented. This time around, it will be an interim one, as the government will face a general election this year in April to May. The full budget will then be presented in July by the incoming government, whether it's a re-elected one or a new one. Now, since this is an interim budget, no real big bang policy changes are expected. But in some key expectations, forecasts have suggested that the government is poised to increase welfare spending and potentially target a reduction in the fiscal deficit to about 4.5% of the GDP by the financial year 25-26. Industry body CII in its expectations said the centre should work on ways to simplify personal taxation processes like capital gains tax, filing of tax returns, among others. Well, what all will finally make the cut, we will only know on the 1st of February. Do catch all the budget action 6 p.m. onwards on One Finance, as we will bring you the big takeaways. Do not forget to share this video. One Finance will bring you every week the top news and updates that impact your personal finances. Do follow One Finance.
Investment in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.